Hello everybody, welcome back to Jacey's Creek. We are on season 2, episode 2, and I cannot wait to talk about this episode. If you have not already, make sure to subscribe, put on your post notifications. I post every Sunday, maybe Friday, depending on my schedule. I cannot wait to get on with this. I really miss doing this. I know I have said that several times. If you have not catched season 1, make sure to get into that. And without further ado, let's get into it. So we are on season 2, episode 2, and this is called Crossroads. We have the air date, which is October 14th, 1998, and this cuts to and then this is the first scene of Joey and Dawson, and they cut to Dawson's bedroom where rom-com and forum for pasta making is on, and Joey and Dawson are making out. Suddenly, you see the light at the bedroom doors go on, unnoticed by Dawson and Joey. The cameras focus on the TV where you see a hand slowly reaching for the bottom of the button to turn it off. The TV turns off and Dawson looks up to find Mitch and Gail Cleary staring at them, and Joey looks up too. That's awkward. So, and Dawson goes, "Oh, Mom and Dad, hey, you remember Joey, right?" That's awkward, Dawson. And that's when they probably figure out that Dawson and Joey are together. First of all, why would you be in your room alone with a girl? Like, that has always struck me in season 1. And then when this season happens, I suddenly feel very bad for Dawson's parents. So then we get to scene 2 of Pacey, and a police officer is handing out the test, and they're like, good job, and then he missed Pacey and missed it by a point. That's too bad. We really need another juvenile delinquent on the road. And Pacey then says, I knew I should have studied. See, this is what happens when you this is what happens when you study. And then he gets up and mumbles, can't wait to enter the world of vehicle freedom. And then he approached the officer. Hey miss, what do you think it's gonna change just a little answer on the test? Free videos for a year? And the police officer says, you're not trying to bribe me, are you, Mr. Witter? And Pacey says, come on, officer, toss me a break, it's my birthday. And the police officer says, oh, it is, really? You should have said something. Happy birthday. The thing that makes me kind of wonder is I'm like, shouldn't you be doing this at DMV, or is this a DMV? And I feel you on the permit thing, Pacey, because, or the license. Like, if you don't know and you're not in the US, or if you don't know this in general, like, for us, it's like 15, you gotta get your permit, you have to get it for 6 months. I know every state kind of varies. And then you get your license at 16, and then by then you can do whatever. So really I kind of feel it, but the insurance for a teenager is very high. I will say that. And I don't have my license nor my permit, but the test is very hard. So then we skip to Joey walking up into the house, and she spots Mrs. Cleary and quickens her pace. And Joey goes, hi, Mrs. Cleary. And she walks quickly through the door, and Mrs. Cleary says, oh, Joey, good, honey. I'm so glad you're here. Honey, come for a second. And she pats the seat next to her. And Joey's like, oh, God. And Mrs. Cleary's like, honey, this is a terrific book. Reproduction and reconciliation. It's preventing teen pregnancy. The fact that they thought Dawson and Joey were automatically going to do it, that kind of makes me just wonder. And Joey closes her eyes, and Mrs. Cleary says, so if there's anything that you'd like to talk to me about, any sex questions about anything, you know you can come to me. that's very awkward to talk about this with your boyfriend's mom. And Dawson comes out on the front porch and he hears the last part of the conversation. He already had a conversation with his dad. Obviously, we're not going to talk about that. And he looks slightly annoyed and embarrassed. And Dawson says, "Hey, look at the time. We better get going. Let's go." And Joey quickly grabs her bag and heads for the porch. And Mitch says, "Remember, Dawson, no hat, no glove." And then Gail says, "No, Mitch, honey, that's no glove, no love." And Mitch says, "You get the point." And Gail says, "Joey." And Joey turns around and the spirit taps the book and Joey just begrudgingly takes it in there, out of there. Whew. I feel so bad for Joey because she views Gail as a mom, but obviously there was some stuff that happened in season 1 that makes her like, "You're really gonna teach me this stuff?" But I kind of feel bad because Joey never really has that conversation with anyone except Gail. And obviously there's her sister and stuff, and later in season 4 she talks about it with Joey when she figures out that there's like some scare with the pregnancy that she was having. Like she was having a pregnancy scare and she was talking to Bessie about it. So there was like times where Joey could go to Bessie about this kind of stuff. And obviously the last episode she went to Bessie about the kiss. But there was like certain things, like if you think your son is having sex with his girlfriend, you should do more than get them a book. Like that's just my preference. Put her on birth control. Come on, think about it. Scene 2 of Pacey. And Pacey, we already know it's his birthday, but he is at Cape Side and he slams his bike rack down. So we know that he failed his license and therefore he could not drive. So Dawson says, "You're gonna kill it." And Pacey says, "I failed." And Dawson's like, "The midterms?" And Pacey says, "Midterms? Like I care, Dawson. I failed my driver's test." And Dawson says, "You might want to take better care of that bike then." Such a good friend. And Pacey says, "Very funny." And Dawson goes, "You're not going to believe it. Mitch and Gail have gone completely off the deep end. You should have heard them today lecturing Joey and me about the finer points of Illinois' adolescent sexuality. It's a moment of awkwardness." And I feel bad for Pacey because he didn't even get a happy birthday. He just gets this whole ramble. And why did Dawson say Mitch and Gail? And Pacey's like, "Maybe you didn't hear me correctly. I said I failed my driver's license today, out of all days." And Dawson goes, "So you can take it again." And Pacey looks confused and he said, "Yeah, but Dawson, I really like to have it today." And he says, Dawson replies back, and this makes me mad. This just makes me mad. He says, "Today? 2 weeks from now? What's the big deal?" Anyway, it was weird, of course. Joey and I are together for a week and my parents are already shoving condoms in my pocket. And Pacey looks even more confused. "You don't have anything to say to me today?" Dawson, confused, he goes, "What's up with you?" And he said, and Pacey goes, "Oh, nothing, man, forget it. You got Joey problems." And he walks away and Dawson looks very confused. I feel bad for Pacey. Obviously, we see what's gonna happen. But, like, Pacey doesn't even get a happy birthday from Dawson. He just gets, "Oh, you can do that in 2 weeks." I know me and my best friend, we always talk about getting our license. We're like, we need to get our license. We need to do this. So that way we can go to this place. If we had our license, we could do this. And getting your license at 16 is literally the dream. Like, just automatically go get it. If you're younger than 16 and you live in the U.S., just get your license. I'm begging you. Get your permit, then get your license. Because you need your license to get places. You can't have your parents driving you forever. Or riding your bike forever. And I feel bad for Pacey. Like, he already has to deal with the fact that he probably likes Joey. And obviously he may be over it in season 2. But, like, now he has his best friend dating that girl. Like, imagine how that would feel. Like, dang, Dawson, rubbing that in his face. And then your best friend doesn't even remember your birthday. Sex is sex. We cut to the pier where Pacey walks up, and I don't really know where they were at. I think they were still at school, but I don't really know. And Jen says hey, and Pacey says hey, and Jen automatically knows that something's wrong with Pacey because you can just see it on his face. And another thing, this is completely off topic, but anyone who's watched The Fair, whenever you see Joshua Jackson's face, like, he makes good facial expressions, but all of his characters have certain, like, facial expressions. One of them, on The Affair, the wife goes, I can tell you're hungry because you have that crease behind your, like, line of your forehead. And then here you can just always see that Pacey's upset because he's just always looks upset, like his expressions. And then Pacey says nothing, and obviously he's sitting down next to her. And Jen looks down, and he says, I got the bad case of Molly Maritis today. And Jen says, let's see, in the Breakfast Club she gets attention. And the Pretty in Pink she gets down to buy it before prom. And 16 Candle, everyone forgets her birthday. And then Pacey nods. And Jen says, that's it? Is today your birthday? And then he goes, the big 1-6, whoopee. And Jen says, happy birthday, Pace. I don't know if I said this before, but I love Jen and Pacey's relationship, and this is just one of my favorite scenes with them in it, because, And then Pacey says, thank you. It's not so much that my family forgot me, they never make it a big deal anyhow, but Dawson always makes it something. He always got some crazy outing for my birthday. We're supposed to go on a road trip to Maine right now, but obviously that's not going to happen. And Jen says, let me take a stab at it. Joey and Dawson are so caught up in their buddy romantic engagement that they already forgotten about your birthday. And Pacey says, I should be happy for them. I mean, I am happy for them. And Jen says, me too. And Pacey looks at her, and Pacey automatically knows, like, no, you're not. And he goes, no, you're not. And she says, I know. And they laugh. And I feel like Pacey supposedly is happy for them, but he probably feels the same way as Jen. And Jen says, you know, I've always been the one I've never been one to pass up a chance at a good old-fashioned self-pity, but why don't you give yourself a break? I mean, today's your birthday. Celebrate. It should be good. Remember in 16 Candles how it turned out? Molly got the hottest guy in school. Could it be you? And Pacey, being sarcastic, goes, yeah. Cake, party hats, balloons, rock on. Pacey. And Jen says, no, I'm serious, like, live it up, have a good time. And Pacey's like, you know what? You're absolutely right. I mean, I am sick of being Dawson's weird sidekick. I'm gonna go make my own storyline. And Jen says, there you go. And Pacey gets his stuff up and says thanks, and he walks up, and Jen's just sitting there alone like, yeah, okay. I love how he says, I'm gonna make my own storyline, like I'm done being Dawson's Larry sidekick. Because it kind of shows, like, the balance between them two. Like, there's so much going on with Dawson and Pacey in this scene, but really, in reality, it was just because the actors, like, hated each other. And I feel like there was just so much going on, and I feel so bad for Pacey whenever this happens. I'm like, poor Pacey. Like, he just has to deal with this. Like, poor Pacey. Like, imagine your best friend just forgetting your birthday. I don't care how old you are. Birthdays are a big deal with your best friends, and I have to make it some big deal. My best friend got me a $30 Amazon gift card for my birthday, and I was so happy that she remembered, but she never said happy birthday to me. And I was like, I don't care how much I don't like my birthday, you better say happy birthday to me or else. She's like, happy birthday. I'm like, that's what I thought. Like, I don't care if you have anything else to do, you better say happy birthday. We cut to Joey's room, and Dawson is sitting on Joey's bed, and Joey is laying there. And Joey says, you know, as long as I live, Dawson, I will never be embarrassed as I was today. And Dawson says, I know. My parents live in those coming old wonder years moments. And Joey says, yeah. And Dawson says, my father had that book in a drawer since I was born. And Joey starts laughing, and he says, all I can say is thank God it was you. I mean, can you imagine if it was on some unexpected gate that I just brought home? And Joey says, I don't know. All that, and then she crawls over to reach for her journal, is I have to write down. And then she said, no glove, no love line before I forget. I mean, it's practicing. And then she was interrupted by Dawson basically ripping her to him. And it's just, I know it's supposed to be a cute scene, but it's not really a cute scene in my head. Maybe it's just like who they are. It's just kind of weird how it just pulls her. And Dawson goes, when I think about you and I together, it's perfect. And Joey smiles. There is no such thing as friends getting to know crap. I mean, we already know about everything we need to know about each other. What do you think? What you feel? And Joey's surprised by this, goes, really? And Dawson says, yeah. And Joey goes, you know everything about me, Dawson. And he goes, come on, I've known you like most of our life. We've been sleeping and walking and all this different kind of stuff together. Yeah, that's fairly to say I know everything about you. And I think this was kind of like another key point to the relationship that has gone downhill. First it was Jen, and now it's the fact that I know everything about you, and thank God, like, it's you and not anyone else. Like, that's such a big red flag. Like, don't do that, Dawson. Like, a girl doesn't want to hear that. A girl does not want to hear that, guys. And Joey smiles again, and Joey says, what you don't know about me, Dawson, could fill a book. I love the way that she says that. And she leans in, and they kiss, and the baby cries in the background. And Joey says, I hear my life calling, and she kisses his forehead, and then she goes to the other room. Instead of just minding his own business, walking around, you know what Dawson does? He picks up her perfume and smells it, which is kind of weird. And then looks at the picture with Joey's mom, and Dawson goes to Joey's journal and picks it up and starts reading it. And Joey comes back and she's like, oh, Alex just had gas. And, you know, instead of being like, oh yeah, I read your journal, he just walks away. Like, he gets up and he's like, I gotta go. And Joey's confused, like, what the heck is wrong with him now? And Dawson's like, yeah, I did nothing. Like, I just gotta go. And she's like, I thought you had a lot of reading for today, Dawson. He's like, I had enough reading. And he leaves Joey alone. And I hate how much he just does this. Like, you never read a girl's journal, ever. I don't care who you are. My mom read my journal. My dad read my journal. A few other people have read my journal in my life. And it hurts. Like, it stings. That's the thing that, like, that's a girl's most prized possession. Like, you write all your stuff down in that journal, and if anyone else reads it, it's embarrassing. Like, even if it's so stupid or so dark or whatever, it's embarrassing. Like, I will remember all that kind of stuff where I put sorry dad in my journals because I thought my dad was reading my journals. Like, you don't do that to someone. You don't do that to someone if it's a guy or if it's a girl. Don't read someone's journal. That's the main lesson that I want to bring out here. So that scene doesn't always have, like, take me off a little bit. And I've talked about that on my Instagram. But to clarify this, if you read someone's journal, stop. Just stop what you're doing. You know better. You know what to do. And if you dare to read it, why bother? Why put that effort into it? So I'm just going to leave that there before I go on a rant for the next 20 minutes. It really makes me mad. So the next scene is of Pacey. And he's handing out flyers, and he stops a kid. He says, hey man, dog party at 8 o'clock. Bailey Port, be there. And he's stating another one when Dawson walks over. And Dawson goes, what's going on? And Pacey says, throwing a party. And Dawson's like, why? Still not remembering that it's Pacey's birthday. Like, I feel like Dawson's like that sentimental person. He would have like a movie calendar, but he doesn't. he needs a calendar. This boy needs a calendar right now. And Dawson and Pacey goes, oh, you know, it's spanning my horizons. I'm getting older than I thought. I would just branch out and take some chances. And Dawson goes, I accidentally read something last night in Joey's journal. How do you accidentally read someone's journal? Okay. I get it if it was, like, flipped open, but he, like, peeked in. Like, he never flipped it open. And Pacey hands an FY to some girls, and Pacey goes, wants some to the girl, and Dawson starts quoting Joey. He says, I'm so sick of Dawson and his stupid horror movies. I wish he could tell how terrible it is, how stupid and perverse and awful it is. And I love this line with Pacey because he's just saying everything that we think. And Pacey goes, so what? At least she didn't tell you that the side of you gets her drive heats, or that the self-centered, self-absorbed, and then staples another one very aggressively, and then he goes selfish. And then Dawson, like, what the heck? And he says, look, obviously she has opinions about me that it hasn't been honest about. She said I was talentless dreamer with no sentimental future. That is not what she said. That is not what she said at all. And Pacey's just really angry and irritated. And he says, okay, no offense, Dawson, but nobody cares. And Dawson's like, I care. Pacey, I mean, I could honestly use some advice here. And Pacey's like, you want some advice? How about this? Your life isn't so interesting. And Dawson's like, what? And Pacey's like, you know, I'm so sick and tired of hearing about you and Joey's but boring little mini dramas. I'm gonna start tearing my fingernails for a relief. Get over yourself, Dawson. Deal. And Pacey just walks over so mad, and Dawson is confused. Like always. I felt that. I genuinely think Dawson's life is so uninteresting. And Pacey, can we get a clap for Pacey in this scene? Like, good job. You said everything that we were thinking. So proud of you. But I feel bad for Dawson sometimes. Like, imagine, like, you're just, like, giving a spill to your best friend, and the other best friend's like, hey, you forgot my birthday, don't even bother telling me about your problems. And on the other side, Pacey's like, I'm throwing a party because it's my birthday and you still can't remember it. For your next birthday, I'm giving you a calendar so that way you can remember my birthday. So then the next scene that we have is Joey walking up to school, and Andy runs up and catches her. And this is the first scene that we see of Andy and Joey. And Andy goes, you work at the Ice House, don't you? I saw you a few nights ago. God, I love that place. And Joey goes, you don't get out much, do you? And Andy's like, anyways, I'm Andy Murphy, you're Joey, right? And they shake hands, and Andy goes, I'm a friend of Pacey Witter's. Well, kind of. And I love Joey's response to this. How bold of you to admit that. Me too. That was so funny to me. I don't know why. And Andy goes, anyway, my brother Jack is looking for a job, you know, busy boy, waitress, whatever, anything. So I was wondering if you could put in a word for him. Or I thought I put in a word for him. And Joey says, well, actually, we could use the help. And Andy's like, really? Oh, great. He's kind of shy. He's really smart. Super nice. Once you get to know him. And Joey goes, okay, well, just tell him to stop by and ask for me. And Andy goes, alright, thanks. And she walks out, and it's really cute. Like, I think this, Andy and Joey, in my opinion, I'm just gonna automatically say this, I love their friendship. I do feel like they have a good friendship, and I feel like they're not as good as Jen and Joey, but I do feel like they have great friendship going on. So, in the next scene, we have Dawson, and he's catching up to Joey. Keep in mind, Joey has no idea that he read her journal, and Joey that's just how it is. And Dawson goes, Joey, hey. And Joey says, hey, and they quickly kiss. And Dawson, trying to keep it casual, says, I was cleaning out my closet this morning and I found this costume that you wore in the movie, and I was thinking about the costume that you wore, and I was thinking about how good you looked in it. And Joey smiles, and Dawson continues, and in that outfit, pretty and vulnerable. And I was thinking, I hope Joey was happy with her performance in the movie. So I guess I was asking, I'm surprised we didn't discuss this. What did you think about my movie? And it's just, this always makes me kind of mad, because he was trying to keep it casual, but he didn't do a good job at it. And Joey goes, I love that. It was great, Dawson. You know that. And Dawson says, you'll be honest with me, right? And Joey says, it was amazing. Extremely talented. It was one of your many attractions. And Dawson stares up, and Joey goes, are you alright? And Dawson says, I just want to make sure that you didn't think my movie was, I don't know, stupid and prude side. And Joey says, you're acting weird. Are you having one of your insecurity attacks? Come on. And Dawson says, it's very important to me that you think I have talent and potential in filmmaking. And Joey's face just completely goes to realization, and she realizes that she left her journal on her bed. Dawson was there. And Joey goes, you read my journal. And Dawson defensively says, you probably left it there for me to open. And Joey says, not unless it blew open and all of a sudden you developed x-ray vision. I mean, God, how dare you? You invaded my privacy. I could sue you for this. And Dawson says, what I'm curious about is what else you didn't want me to see. What else Joey Potter really thinks about me. And Joey says, oh, right now you don't really want to know. And I feel like that was a reasonable, very, very reasonable answer to this. And I don't think that Joey did bad on that. I don't think that she made herself a fool, but I generally think that Dawson should have got more stuff out of that. I think they should have broke up or something, because that was the moment that they should have realized it was not going to work out. But that's just my opinion. Someone in my journal, we wouldn't be together. So the next scene that we see is where Pacey is putting flowers under car windshield wipers, and Joey and Andy says, I hate it when people put plaster and explosive materials on proper property. And Pacey says, you know what, Miffy? I really wish you weren't here right now. And Andy goes, charm on hold for a second. I was just curious what the occasion was for. And Pacey says, it was my going away party. I'm dying of a heartstring. Remember, have you heard? And Andy says, where's your sense of humor? Every time I hear that, I just think, where's your humanity? I don't know why that goes in my head. And Pacey says, oh, I have a sense of humor. In fact, I have a very sense of humor. It is to tell that girl that I'm dying, so that way she'll go off me. That's not very funny. And Andy says, why were you interested in someone who so mentally developed that she would actually believe that there was a heartstring? And I believe that Andy is very right to say that. And Pacey looks at her, and he says, okay, I'm sorry. So what's your reason for your little coffee? And Pacey says, aren't you mistaken for the impression that I really haven't invited, that you're actually invited? And Andy says, well, come on. And Pacey, well, it says come on. And Pacey says, no, read the fine print. It says, come all, for except for spoiled trust fund that comes from Rhode Island. Sorry. I feel like that this was kind of the moment where you kind of see how they feel against each other, but at the same time, it wasn't bad, but it wasn't correct. I feel like when they get closer, it's a little bit okay, but it's just Oh, you think you're invited? No, you're not. Poor Andy. Poor Andy in this scene. She only told the crush that Pacey dreamed about. Pacey had a heartstring, so we're good. So then we cut to a scene with Joey being a waitress, which we haven't seen in a very long time. And Dawson says, alright, so I shouldn't have read your journal, but come on, you can't tell me that all this time you've been in my room, you never snooped, which some people, Dawson, don't actually snoop in other people's business, but I can't say that I'm not one of those people, because I did that today with someone's phone. And Joey says, nope, and Dawson says, not once, and Joey says, no, because unlike you, I respect your privacy. And Dawson says, you obviously don't respect my film-making abilities. And Joey just gets angry and says, Dawson, how I feel about you and your quest to be spin beer are not your point. You read my journal. This is a huge privacy invasion. And Dawson says that's exactly the point. How do you feel about my filming abilities? And Jack comes in, and this is the first thing that we see of Jack. We love Jack. He's hilarious. He's stupid sometimes, but hilarious. And Jack goes, hi, I'm Jack. And Joey says, can I help you? And Jack says, Andy's brother? And Joey goes, and who's Andy? And poor Jack, he's like, my sister? And Joey says, look, that's fantastic. I don't want to be rude, but I'm very busy here, so I can't help you with anything. And Jack goes, I'm here for an interview. Joey, how many Andys do you know? Like, how does that not click in your brain? And Joey goes, oh, yeah, right, job, Andy's brother. Have you ever washed dishes before? And Jack goes, no, but I'm willing to learn. And Joey says, good, use the kitchen that way. And Jack's looking a little bit overwhelmed over here. And Dawson says, I admit that I was wrong, but Joey, you lied to me. You've been lying to me. And Joey says, what? Don't turn this around on me and make me the bad guy. You violated me. You betrayed me. I think Joey's in the right here. Not because I like Joey, but generally speaking, you don't go invading someone's business and then turn it around on them. Like, that's so mean. And Dawson says, tell me, were you ever planning on telling me the truth? And Joey goes, why should I? I just thought I'd write it all down and you had to study over it. And Dawson goes, stop making jokes, Joey. This is a big deal. You were completely dishonest. And Joey goes, you're right, Dawson. It is a big deal. But it isn't a big deal isn't what you read. The big deal is you read it. And Dawson goes, I apologize for that already. And poor Jack over here is like, excuse me, your sister won't let me in the kitchen. Like, can you please tell your sister that I work here now? And he walks away, and Dawson says, I'm actually glad I read it, because I realize I don't think I know you at all. And Joey says, maybe you don't, Dawson. Maybe you never did. I'm sorry, but this is such a kid romantic thing. Like, I think Joey was in the right for this, because why would you read someone's journal? Can someone please explain this to me? Like, it makes no sense to me. Why would you go read her journal and then be like, oh, yep, I'm in the right, you're in the wrong? No, you're not. So then we cut to Pacey putting up lights on the dock, and Andy walks over, and she's in a bikini and a skirt. And Andy goes, hi. And Pacey goes, hi. Isn't Andy McBee the rich girl in town? What happened? They cancel on your polo match? And Andy goes, look, Pacey, if you want me to leave, I will. And Pacey says, no, that's okay. Actually, the only person I recognize here, and I asked you, how sad is that? And Andy goes, don't worry, parties take a while to get going. Though you might want to work on a DJ into your budget. And Pacey goes, okay, can't say that it's been pleasant to talk to you, but you think you should go out and mingle and meet some new people? And Annie goes, yeah, I probably should, but new people make me nervous. I never know what to say to them, and actually I clam up totally. And Pacey's like, are you joking me? Are you actually kidding? You are nothing that involves shy. And he's like, just please go. And he's like, you almost stopped talking since the moment I met you. And Danny goes, well, you don't make me nervous. You make me mad. Mad beats nervous. I agree, Andy, completely. That's how I am. Like, I won't say a word to you if I don't know you, but if you make me mad, I'll say everything to you. And he says, okay, you just go out and mingle now. Yeah? And Andy goes, you go mingle. And Pacey goes, okay. And Andy says, okay, hey, you're in luck. Another varsity cheerleader, rocket science, is checking you out. And Pacey goes, she's looking at me, and Andy nods. And Pacey's like, you know, I haven't had much luck with senior girls this year. And Andy goes, nothing has luck to do with it. Some older women happen to like younger men. And I love how Pacey laughs at this, but she has no idea about Miss Jacobs at all. Andy goes, so go ahead, go talk to her. What do you gotta lose? And Pacey goes, oh, I don't know. Dignity, humanity, face. And Annie goes, it's not like you had any of that in the first place. And Pacey goes, you know what, Biffy? I really wish I made you nervous. And she gives that kind of look that just kind of says, go away. And as Pacey's walking towards some people are hitting him in the back of the head, and he just shrugs it off, and he drinks a soda. And then he sees some guys picking up on that girl he wants to talk to, so he walks in the dark, and there's sister girls. And Pacey goes, hey ladies, having a good time? And there's this girl on the boat. That's what he's talking to. And one girl like pours out a drink, and she goes, what is this? And they're all laughing. And I love this scene because it goes, like, I don't know what kind of scream that was, but that's a weird scream. And he goes, so funny. And then Dawson approaches, and it makes Pacey mad, and he just kind of walks away. Pacey. I love that laugh, though. You know what laugh I'm talking about? He goes, you sound like a bird. He goes, oh, so funny. It makes me laugh every single time. If you haven't watched that scene, you should go watch it. So then we see the next scene of Joey. And Joey is staring out the window and waiting on tables, and Jack is looking at her. And Joey goes, what? And Jack goes, nothing. And Joey walks over, and Jack says, first fight, and Joey says, what? And Jack says, with your boyfriend. And Joey says, hardly. Well, actually, yeah, with boyfriend and girlfriend. I mean, as friends we constantly, but it's different now. And Jack goes, which means you haven't had your first makeup either. And Joey looks at him, and Jack's like, go ahead, I'll walk up. And Joey's like, I actually can't because Bessie will kill me, but thanks. And Jack goes, what, you think I'm gonna take off your secret recipe for your tartar sauce? It's not that good. And Joey goes, oh, you think you can handle it? Turn off the lights, lock the door. And Joey goes, what the hell, thanks, Jack. And she hands her apron, and as she leaves, there's glass dropping, but Joey just keeps going. Which, I feel like this is a cute moment. It's the first moment with Jack and Joey alone, and I feel like we kind of see Jack's personality that just kind of shines. Like, he'll do anything for his friends, and I love that about Jack. And Joey just kind of takes it, and I feel like Jack and Joey are really, really good friends. I love their friendship so very much. So then we see another scene of Pacey, and Dawson walks up to Pacey, and he goes, hey. And angrily, Pacey goes, what's up? And Dawson says, alright, look, I don't know what's going on between us, but obviously I did something to set you off. And Pacey's like, me? I can't imagine what would that be. And Dawson says, look, I'm about 2 seconds away from blowing it with Joey. You know everything about each other, and I really need your advice. And Pacey's like, no, wait a minute. You know everything about me? Huh? You know how I got this scar on my chin? You know why my father hates me? You want to know why the fine line between insecurity and self-confidence? Correct me if I'm wrong, Dawson, but you don't know any of those answers to my question. In fact, I don't even think you know when I was born. And then suddenly it dawns on Dawson, like, ding, ding, ding. Oh, yep, it's Pacey's birthday. It's my best friend's birthday. And Dawson goes, oh my god, it's your birthday. Oh, Pacey, I'm sorry. God, I'm an idiot. You were trying to tell me all day it was your birthday, and you're supposed to give your driver's license today. And Pacey goes, yeah, well, that didn't work out either. Bet you forgot that too, didn't you? And Dawson goes, no, we're supposed to go to Maine. I can't believe I forgot. Look, I'll make it up to you. Tomorrow night, you and me will do whatever you want. And Pacey's like, do you see this look that I'm trying to give off? It has nothing to do with my birthday. It has nothing to do with my driver's license. It's certainly nothing to do with the road tripping to Maine. I came to the dark realization that everyone in Caveside has written me off, demanding and unworthy of their time, and conclusively that I came up to on my 16th birthday is that my best friend in the world looks at me the same way. This goes back to Miss Jacobs. I feel like Dawson really kind of brings this on, but I do feel like this kind of goes back to Miss Jacobs because Miss Jacobs was kind of the only person that really was there for Pacey in season 1, but not in a good way. But I feel like after Miss Jacobs left, there was that kind of town rumor, and it kind of made Pacey insecure, and he was back to that boy that had no confidence. But then, over here, it was Dawson's fault, because Dawson forgot his best friend's birthday, and now, like, the one person that he could count on, Pacey could rely on. You're supposed to rely on your best friend. You're supposed to have dreams about your best friend to remember your birthday. And the fact that, like, you couldn't remember his birthday, you couldn't take 10 seconds out of your day to say happy birthday, like, that sucks. Like, now we have, like, reminders on our phone, calendars on his phone, but, like, Pacey's just like, hey, you forgot my birthday. Like, how do you think you could ever repay this? And Dawson's like, Pacey, how can I fix this? And Pacey, again, says, you can't. Everything's different now. You got Joey, and our friendship just doesn't compare to what you two have, okay? I'm not the third wheel type. Maybe next year we'll take that road trip. And I think this kind of shows a little bit of jealousy with Joey, but I think Pacey was jealous of Dawson because he wanted that, but also at the same time, he wanted his best friend back. He wanted his best friend to remember his birthday, and in order to remember his birthday, he had to know that he remembered. He wanted him to go to Maine with him. He wanted him to do all that thing. And it sucks that Pacey never got to do that thing. Like, he deserved to do that thing after the sucky year that he had with Miss Jacobs. And the fact that, like, you suddenly realize how old Pacey was with Miss Jacobs, like a 15-year-old and a 30-year-old, that still gets me. But, like, now he's 16. He has this new legacy to live up, like another year of life, and you get to continue on, and his best friend forgot. Like, how can he live up that legacy that he's been bringing on for his 16th birthday when he can't even do all that stuff with his best friend anymore? Like, that sucks. I feel so bad for Pacey in this episode. Next, we have the rain scene. Where Dawson is standing in one place, and Joey's standing in the other, and they're looking at each other, and there's this thing where, like, they run out to each other, they're slowly walking, they meet each other's eyes, and what the heck? And then the rain has stopped, and they're sitting on the edge of the dock, and Dawson, after this romantic scene that we see, they go, he goes, I forgot Pacey's birthday. I'm his best friend, and I forgot his 16th birthday. And Joey's like, is he alright? And Dawson says, no, he's really hurt, he's angry, he's not speaking to me, and I really don't blame him. And Joey says, sorry, Dawson. And Dawson goes, yeah, I pretty much suck, you know, What is, Joey? I'm the worst filmmaker, but I'm better off being a cook somewhere. Maybe all of my dreams are bogus. Maybe all the people are landing from Hollywood sometimes. I just never thought you would be one of them. I like how Dawson can't even, take 2 seconds to talk about Pacey even more. And he just brings up this again after they made up. And Joey goes, Dawson, I'm not letting you off the hook for what you did. I mean, it's wrong of you to go inside my head and take my thoughts and my feelings without my consent. And Dawson goes, Joey, I know, believe me, I know it's wrong. I'm sorry I ever read it. And Joey says, though I don't owe you any explanation, I do owe you the truth, because I always been honest with you. The truth is, I had feelings for you for a long time, and I hid the angry, I've been squirmish, I don't know, some days it just makes me so mad, and I take it somewhere and unleash it. It's my way of coping. It's where I go to trash life, and it's unnecessarily true, and it's not how I feel. It's what I'm feeling that particular day at the particular time. I saved the truth for you, Dawson. I always believe in you. I mean, you're the most extraordinary, talented person that I ever met, and I'm your biggest fan. Although it's cute, we all know that's true. I just love how every single time, this stuff happens, they just fight. They just continue butting heads. And in my opinion, Joey said the same thing that I said earlier. You took someone's thoughts out of a piece of paper. That's where you release all your thoughts. And to have your boyfriend read that you know for years, and wouldn't Dawson just kind of let it go eventually? I feel like he never let that go. That was never mentioned again. I generally, that just irks me. It will forever irk me. And Dawson says, I'm glad, I don't know everything about you, because you amaze me every day. And there's a silence, and Joey smiles, and she says, good. And they laugh and lean in a kiss. But, it's just proof that you don't know someone. You don't know someone's birthday, and you don't know everything about them, so don't act like you do, Dawson. Then we have a scene of Andy and Pacey. And Andy walks up to Pacey, who is sitting on the docks, and she says, this is for you. And she hands him a gift. And she says, it's not much. And Pacey looks at the gift. And she goes, well, it's Andy's birthday, isn't it? And he goes, how'd you know? And she says, I'm a psychic. Okay, I heard you talking to that guy Dawson, arguing, and I had it in my car. Anyway, I was going to give it to my brother for Christmas, but I kind of forgot. Anyway, go open it. And Pacey opens it up, and it's a magic 8-ball. I love this scene. It's really cute, honestly. And Andy says, ask a question. And he, shakes it, and he asks, will my driver's license, will I pass my driver's license? And he shakes it, and signs point to yes. What is my future? And he shakes it, and it says, can't predict now. And then he gives it to Andy, who shakes it and then accidentally drops it, because that's typical Andy. And Pacey goes, that can't be a good sign. And she says, I'm sorry. And he says, it's the thought that counts. And she says, I've always been a klutz. Some things never change. And Pacey goes, everything changes. Everybody changes. Except for me. Take this stupid party, for example. I thought Pacey Weathered, the guy who throws a good party. I'm still Pacey Weathered, the guy who's failing biology. But now, I'm a year older. And he goes, maybe you're just Pacey Weathered, the guy who's trying to figure it out. And Pacey goes, well, and he goes, what? We're so deep. And I love how Pacey just takes a serious moment and just goes, wow, we're so deep. But I generally do think, that moment kind of changed everything. They weren't fighting. This was the first thing that we actually seen them get along with Andy and Pacey. So I do love this scene with them two in it. And I like how it says, can't predict the future. I feel like there was, some type of foreshadowing in this. Can't predict the future, but your, future girlfriend is sitting next to you. Or ex-girlfriend. So. Then we have the last scene of the episode for them two. And this ends with Dawson and Pacey. Pacey says, the perfect day to end days. And Dawson goes, listen, Pacey, I've been a lousy friend lately, and there's no excuse for forgetting your birthday. And it's not because I've written you off, okay? This Joey thing has been incredibly confusing, complicated, and Pacey goes, Dawson. It's okay. I'm happy for you, too. You deserve the happiness. God knows it took long enough. The only thing I was trying to say is certain things that go as miss your friends, that's natural, you know? No big deal. And Pacey said, and Dawson says what everyone is thinking. And he goes, it's a big deal. Maybe my actions have not been tested that lately, but everything is complicated, and everything is changing, and nothing is ever going to change that makes you my best friend. Nothing. Here, can I read this again, you guys? Just hold on to this thought. But nothing is ever going to change so much that you're not going to be my best friend. Wrong. Wrong. Dawson, Pacey goes after your girlfriend. Kind of. Not really. They weren't dating. But still. Like, that changes everything. And though I love Pacey, I love Pacey. I think Pacey kind of knew this too, because he smiles and there's like a deep silence. And Pacey goes, are we having a moment? And Dawson's like, yeah, I think we are. Let's go. Things are going to change. Things are going to change big time in season 3. But I feel like this is kind of foreshadowing something over here. And they get in a boat and Dawson says, man, that was too bad about your license. And Pacey goes, no, that's alright. I can take the test in a couple weeks. And Dawson says, well, maybe you need some more practice. And Pacey goes, oh, please. You and I both know I've been breaking the state law for at least 3 years. And Dawson says, no, I mean right now. And Pacey goes, what? And Dawson goes, I mean, the keys to the Metro-mobile are. And Pacey goes, please, Dawson, please. Your father would kill you. And Dawson says, don't be a wuss on me, Pacey. And Pacey says, listen, Dawson, we're cool. You don't have to do this. And Dawson says, maybe I want to. And they speed off in the boat. And Dawson goes, Pacey? Yeah. And Dawson goes, happy birthday. And Pacey says, thanks, bro. I do think that's a sweet moment between them two. Like, at the end of the day, Dawson does say happy birthday. It just took him a while. It just took him a while to say 2 words. Happy birthday. And that is it for today. That is our episode for today. I hope that you enjoyed this. I am really excited for this. I am happy that he did say happy birthday, but at the same time, this episode just makes me mad. So, moral of the story, don't read someone's journal. If you want to be a jerk, you can. And don't forget to say happy birthday to your best friend. So, yeah, you should say happy birthday to me on December 20th. That's the moral of the story. And I can't believe that Dawson was so wrapped up with Joey that he just forgot to say happy birthday. And I do love the scene with Andy. This was the first episode that we saw Jack. So there's a lot of stuff going on. There's gonna be some drama coming. I do feel like majority of the storyline for this episode kind of goes back to Tamara and how Pacey always felt a little bit insecure. And we haven't really seen that season 1. Like, we did, but we didn't at the same time. Because it's not like he could hide underneath a 30-year-old anymore, literally. He has to continue growing, and Joey has to deal with whatever she deals with Dawson, but Dawson has to deal with that he doesn't know everything about everyone, and he shouldn't act like he knows everything about everyone. And I know me, like, I do that a lot with people, and I always remember the line that Joey says, I could write a whole book about everything you don't know, because I say that a lot to my friends, like, no, I know you, like, we're fine, like, it's okay. And then I think about it later, and I'm like, I shouldn't have said that, because one day I'm not going to know them. One day we're not going to be sitting in high school library making jokes and having fun, because we're going to get older, and things happen when you're older, and you don't know that many people when you get older. So I kind of feel bad for Dawson that he has to realize this, but sooner or later he's going to figure that out. So that is the episode for this week. Make sure to follow Pacey and Joey on TikTok. Make sure to follow my Instagram, Witter and Potter, and subscribe so you can catch every episode.
and I will see you next time.
Bye!